This is a 2020 Suzuki Jimny, completely stock. This is a 2020 Suzuki Jimny with a Wald body kit fitted. And this is a 2020 Mercedes-AMG G Wagon. So today we are going to be doing a little bit of a visual comparison on all three of these little off-roaders. Well, two little off-roaders. And then we're going to get into this Wald Edition Jimny, take it for a bit of a spin, and just see what it's all about and how this thing actually drives with this body kit fitted. Now this Jimny is the one that pretty much everyone knows about. You know, these are a very, very popular car right now. Really hard actually to get a hold of one. There's a pretty big waiting list, in fact. But we're really just using this car today as reference to see how insane the Wald body kit really is. So these cars are actually the same color as well, so it really gives you a good reference of what is actually involved with the Wald body kit. So as you can see, you know, the whole bumpers have changed. You got the bonnet that looks different, the lights, the grille. Pretty well the whole exterior has changed. Now when you walk down the sides of both of these cars, you can see the massive flares on the Wald body kit here. Now obviously this Jimny does have flared out guards. Now if you had the actual K version, they wouldn't have any guards on them. So this is obviously the upgraded one, which the rest of the world gets. Only Japan obviously gets the K car one. Larger wheels are fitted as well to the Wald body kit here. It's actually a Wald wheel. Looks very nice. You know, you got these all-terrain rubber up there as well, which would really help you off-road rather than these kind of street tires. Big mention to say here is the exhaust system. So this has a FI exhaust coming out like the G Wagon over here. So it only comes out on the left side here, but just have a listen to this thing. And now when we come over to the G Wagon, you can see we've got that same, you know, dual exhaust coming out the side here. Now on the G Wagon, it actually goes out on both ends of the vehicle. So, you know, this is a V8 versus a 4-cylinder. Now have a listen to this one. Now, when we come up to the front here, this is really where you kind of see the similarities, because over here, you know, you've got this very iconic, you know, the G Wagon, everybody knows this car. You know, it's got that very utilitarian look about it. And when we come over to the Wald body kit here, you know, we do have very similar headlights. You've got that indicator up here as well on the hood. So, you know, they really are quite similar. And even the bonnet, how the bonnet comes up on the G Wagon, you know, they've kind of made this little illusion here with this piece that goes on the hood. So, you know, they both do have flared out guards as well. And, you know, when you look at these cars, they really do have a similar look to them. But obviously there is a massive price difference here. A stock Jimny here in Australia, you're looking around 30, 32 grand. You can double that figure for the Wald Edition. And when you come to the G Wagon, well, you can put both those together and triple it. So there's a massive difference in quality and price. Now, while we're comparing these three cars kind of visually, let's actually talk about what's under the bonnet here. So stock Jimny, you got a 4-cylinder engine here. It's a 1.5 liter and it makes about 100 horsepower. Now when we go over to the Wald Edition one here, basically the engine is untouched. So we're still got that 100 horsepower. Now when we go to the G Wagon here, well, this is a V8 bi-turbo, and I believe it makes around 570 horsepower or something. So, you know, again, you can double these cars and basically triple it. So yeah, this really is probably 6 times the car as the Jimny, but it's 6 times the price. Now, just comparing interiors, well, this is obviously, you know, a significantly nicer interior. You know, the Mercedes AMG, they do some of the best interiors in the business. So, you know, it is very, very luxurious in the G Wagon. Well, when we come to the Wald Edition, look, these two cars, the stock one and the Wald Edition, they're basically on the interior are identical. You know, on the Wald Edition, I believe you can get some upgrades for the interior with, you know, seat covers and different steering wheel maybe in that, but this particular one is basically identical to the stock one, which, to be honest, you know, it isn't that bad of a place to be. Yes, it is a cheap car, so there is a lot of hard plastics in that, but it still feels pretty well put together. Now, something else we could compare here is obviously the off-road capabilities. So this is actually quite a good off-roader, and whoever buys this is probably the most likely to go off-road. So out of these 3 cars, this is probably the most likely one you'll see on a trail with you. Now, this is pretty good, you know, from factory. They're not that bad. You know, they have a pretty good ride height there, pretty good descent angles in that. So, you know, it is quite capable. Now, when you go to the Wald Edition, as you can clearly see, you pretty much improve everything because this does get a suspension upgrade. You get the larger wheels as well. So you actually even have more ground clearance than the standard one. Now, when you go with the G Wagon, well, this is hands down going to be the best off-roader. It's the most capable, of course, but you will never see somebody off-roading this G Wagon. It's just not going to happen. But anyways, let's get the keys and get in this Jimny Wald Edition because this is the one we're here to check out. We're here to review. So we're going to take this one out, give it a bit of a spin, and yeah, see how she goes. Now, driving this 2020 Suzuki Jimny with the Wald body kit on it. And let me tell you that this car is just a whole lot of fun. And, you know, don't take it too seriously like this thing's trying to be, you know, a poor man's G Wagon because, you know, in some sense you might say it is, but when you sit in this car and you drive it, you know, it really is just so much fun. And you know, you can't take this car too seriously. You really can't. Now, obviously, with this Wald body kit, the price of one of these body kits is fairly extensive. Now, to do pretty much everything that has been done to this particular Jimny, you may as well double that 30 grand. So it's about a $60,000 Jimny right now as she sits. And yeah, you know, it is a lot of money for what it is. It really is. But you definitely have something unique here, and you know, it does get a lot of attention on the road, deservingly enough. And I do like the fact that Suzuki really took their time and, you know, they engineered this interior for the people that were going to buy it, because, you know, people who buy this Jimny, yeah, they might punt around town for, you know, most of its life, but they will take it off-road because this is, you know, quite a capable off-road vehicle. And, you know, they've really shown they've had that in mind with some of the plastics in here. You know, everything looks like it'd be quite easy to clean. You know, the floor mats are just rubber. You know, you can take them out, wash them. And even the dials here, you know, your dials for your climate controls and stuff, they're all big and chunky. So if you had gloves on or something, it's just easy to use everything. So, you know, it's kind of similar to the FJ I've reviewed where, you know, the interior, though it is extremely basic, it's well laid out and well thought out as well. And again, just easing onto it. Oh my goodness. This is comical, it really is. Now in 4-low, just in drive here, you know, this thing should be a capable little off-roader, especially with these all-terrain tires that we have fitted to this little Jimny. So, you know, just cruising around, you know, it is quite a little good off-roader here. And it handles the soft stuff pretty well, I will say that. You know, if you're just going through some of these little trails here, you know, this is really what the Jimny was designed for, because it is so narrow and it has that short wheelbase. It just goes where you want it, you know, and it's a lot of fun doing it. You really gotta kind of send it with this, because the all grip traction control that this thing has is not the most intuitive. Basically, you just gotta send it until this thing grips and finds traction. And you know, driving out here, handling wise, look, it's pretty good. You know, again, you are a bit floaty, you do feel a bit high up. You definitely would have to want to watch your approach angles in that, because, you know, you wouldn't want to be leaning too far to one side, but, you know, it's pretty good. You know, it doesn't soak up the road amazingly, but for what you want it to do, it does it, you know, it really does. And that's the real trick about this whole Jimny, is that it just does what you need it to do. Nothing more, nothing less. This does have a reverse camera in this one, so you know, that's a helpful feature again. And it's quite easy to see. I can actually see where my wheels are from the driver's side here, because again, these door panels are just so thin that you can easily kind of see where your wheels are if you're gonna make something. Again, just for doing this four-wheel driving stuff, it is just really good. And again, you know, the Jimny can just, it's pretty good. It'll scale pretty much whatever you like. This is a little mountain goat, as it's also referred to. And this right here is the whole reason you would go out and buy a Jimny, because it's just fun to take it out in the bush where, you know, some of the bigger off-road vehicles just can't get to. They just simply cannot get to. And again, you know, you can just go down these little embankments, you know, which really doesn't show that it's got a lot of off-road capability, but it does, you know. And look, you know, it handles it with ease, because it's just so light. This thing weighs 1,000 kilos, so you know, it's not a heavy little car. It's just, it's lightweight. It likes to just, you know, rip around these trails, and it's fun. This little car is, you know, it's like the little car that could, you know. It's just, you don't expect much from it, but she just keeps going and going. Like, it really is one of those stories with this car. And this little car will just do whatever you ask it to do. It really will. It's a lot of fun. I haven't had this much fun in a 100 horsepower car since probably the S660. So, you know, just, you get that exhaust, you just give it a bit of juice, take it up some of these little embankments, which, you know, it is nothing for this car. This car is so much more capable than what I'm doing with it, but, you know, we're in the city at the moment, so places are pretty difficult. And again, you know, even just some of these trails, yeah, they're quite sandy, but, you know, you got so much confidence in this thing, you really do. And it's a barrel of fun, because you're sliding all over the place. Oh, that is fun to do. That is super fun. And even you go over some of these more intense sand dunes. She bounces around, she does, but you know, then you just going back out on the road. Now, 0 to 100. So, just gonna put this thing into drive. We are in too high, and just gonna see what this thing does. So, you know, I'm not expecting much. So, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness. 80. 90. 100. Oh, it's a bit floaty. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, it's she is definitely not built for 0 to 100 runs. That is for sure. But you know, like we've seen when we went off-road there for, well, off-road, it's just a barrel of laughs. You know, this thing is just a lot of fun, and you know, even though it's not quick, it puts a smile on your face pretty well every second you drive this thing. It just has so much charm, so much character. It's amazing. And you know, the Jimny in itself is a really, really great vehicle, and you know, with this Wald body kit on it, you know, some people might not like it, but hey, each to their own. And this has definitely made it a bit more capable, and you know, it's just something special. You know, it's one of the Philippine guys who's have one of these trucks. It's the badass Jimny, he says. And it is pretty badass. Now I'm gonna finish the video off here today, so a huge thank you goes to Vans West for organizing this review today and that little comparison we did at the beginning of this video. So this is actually listed for sale from Vans West, so a link will be in the description below. If you guys are curious, you want to check it out, go ahead and click that link down below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very, very cool looking little Jimny. I had an absolute blast driving this thing. It is nothing but a pile of smiles. So yeah, do you guys actually like this thing? Do you not like it? Do you think this body kit's over the top? Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.